Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook. Oh my God, look at scruffy me. I didn't have time to shave. I didn't have time to do anything this morning. The time change is killing me. It's a good thing that I prepped a lot of work for today's broadcast last night, but I need to set up an alarm clock tomorrow morning. But enough about me. This is Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together where we take a look at important headlines and some suggestions that we exchange and ideas and topics about how to best take advantage of living here in Puerto Vallarta, living in Mexico, knowing the culture, appreciating our surroundings as a community of English-speaking locals. If you think you can relate, you are more than welcome to join us. And if this is your first time, please write the word new in your comments. In this way, we will give you a proper welcome. If you have something truly important to share, please let us know by adding the letter Q to your comment at the very beginning. And today is a huge day. It's because we have news about the vaccine for seniors. We're going to tell you a little bit about that. The campaigns have started. I mean, the tourists are hopefully leaving, but now the political campaigns have started. We have to talk about that. We are going to close some circles about something that we discussed yesterday about Punta de Mita. And of course, today is Music Monday, and we are going to learn about scat singing and Vocalese. And Claude asked me to do some scat singing, and I cannot say no to Claude. So I'm going to sing this early in the morning. Ooh, but let's see who's here first and foremost. As usual, we'd like to take a quick look at who's around. Good morning, Jill. It's great to see you. Judy is at Brisas del Pacifico. Great to see you as well. Your icons are not showing up, and they're not showing up on my computer either. Let's see. Boom. Stephanie does have an icon. There you go, Stephanie. It's great to see you. Let's see who else is here. Kathleen says, just another manic Monday. I hear you. Brett is in Mazatlan, and I've been thinking about Mazatlan ever since you appeared, Brett. I really want to go and visit. Yes, something along those lines. Shabba dabba dabba bing bang bong. Yeah, that's scat singing, and yes, we are going to venture into the world of scat singing this morning. Why not? I wish you were here to sing with me, Matthew. I mean, since you seem to have your syllables all figured out. Shabba dabba baba da bing bang bong. I like that. We'll try to set that to music at some point. Let's see who else is here. Tony says, I'm overdue for a shave también. Well, it's like I'll take a shower right after this, and I have to go videotape some tacos for tomorrow. Or not videotape, but, photograph. You know what I mean. The time change was brutal this year. Says Gary, I wonder why. I'm also going through a serious time change issue here. I thought it was just me, says Logan. I think it might be also applied to the time change, but it is It is what it is. Claude asks, any more info on the three deaths on the Rio Quale? Yes, for those of you that don't know, three bodies were found on the Rio Quale on the way to El Jorullo. This happened on Sunday morning, yesterday morning. Yes, it was mother and daughter from Nuevo Vallarta and a male friend. Their bodies showed physical abuse and they were just dumped on the river. This is really unfortunate, but all three bodies have been identified. And of course, the authorities are now looking into this to find out why this happened or how. Half New says, Gary Simmons, I've watched all your shows, but this is my first time attending live in Emiliano Zapata. Good for you, Gary. I hope you're enjoying your time here in town, and I hope you'll have a wonderful time as long as you're here for the period that you're going to be here. Let's see what else is going on. Shangada bum bum boom. Arturo, we missed you yesterday, but yes, I ended up having an unexpected lunch at La Romantica, and I loved it. I will go to Tacos Revolucion, your brother's other venue, at some point. Of course, now I have no choice because we're doing Taco Tuesday. I'm just waiting for the tourists of Semana Pascua to go away. I know I'm being a little paranoid about the tourists. In fact, it's really weird because walking along my neighborhood, you can barely feel that there is Semana Santa going on, which is yet another reason why a lot of us locals choose to not hang out in the tourist neighborhoods anymore. But yes, we'll definitely get to that, Arturo. We loved sitting at La Romantica the other day. I'm well aware of this, Brett, and definitely want to do that, and that's the way I would do it. I'm now more intrigued about Mazatlan, because Mazatlan is going to be probably the only place, or the first place rather, from which cruises to Islas Marias will first depart, and I'm intrigued about going to visit the prison and whatnot. But again, I personally have chosen not to hop on a bus until I get my vaccine. That's just me. And but trust me, as soon as I get at least my first dose of a vaccine, if I end up getting the 2-dose shot, Guadalajara and Mazatlan are like definitely on my radar. Let's see who else is here. Oh, thank you very much for that report, Logan. The energy shift in the air this morning was tangible. I believe I heard our colonia let out a collective sigh of relief. Well, yeah, there must have been a lot of people in your neighborhood. Let's see what else. Oh dear. So there's well, definitely communicate some intel with me, Logan, if you know more about that. That is just so horrible. Anyhow, Candace is heading to Mazatlan next Sunday. You're probably driving your own car. How fun. Oh my God, I'm envious. Envious, totally envious. Anyhow, let us get started with the news, because we have a lot of news and we have Music Monday to go through, so we might as well dive in. Well, as we mentioned earlier, the application of the second Pfizer vaccines for local seniors begins tomorrow, and will take place tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, this time around, it is important that you follow this chart that I'm going to show you, because you may have to go to a place where you didn't go the first time. For example, if you were vaccinated at the university or at the ISTE, then you go back to the university. If you were vaccinated at the Domo in Ixtapa, you go back to the same place. But if you were vaccinated at the convention center or at the IMSS Clinic 42, at the UMA or at the Pesquera, then you have to go to Centro de Convenciones, the convention center. So that may not be the same place as where you went before. Same thing happens for people that got vaccinated at IMSS 170 and at HRPV. I don't know what that is, but if you got vaccinated there, you probably do. And you need to go to the Comude. Same thing. If you got vaccinated at Casa del Día, Centro de Capacitación, DIF, or at the IMSS number 179, you need to go to La Lija. and so forth and so on. So just make sure that you take a quick look at this chart, and you're going to find it in the show notes so that you know exactly where you are supposed to be. Now, let's see what else we have. We also mentioned that political campaign season began yesterday, and representatives from different parties perched themselves at important intersections in town, as they always do, trying to attract the attention of the vehicles and throwing snarky remarks at one another, despite the fact that different parties are not supposed to do that. Here we can see folks from the Partido Verde, or Green Party, picking at folks from the Movimiento Ciudadano Party, also known as the Partido Naranja or Orange Party. I can see a sign that says, "Vacúnate contra el naranja virus," or "Vaccinate yourself against the orange virus." So that's what political campaigns do. I mean, they go to intersections, they wave a lot of flags, and for better or worse, unless you choose to be informed, a lot of locals, no, I shouldn't generalize, but many locals do not get involved in understanding really what the parties are about, and what the political candidates bring to the table. But as if that wasn't annoying enough, many of us are worried about how the tourists behave during Semana Santa, and we saw some nasty photographs out there of people at the beach at different venues. Well, despite very poignant warnings from the Electoral College that massive events were not to be organized, take a look at this one. This is in our city from Sunday night. Our own wannabe candidates looking after the citizenship's well-being, throwing events in which people are not safe distancing at all. And you ask me why I dislike politics and politicians? Don't even get me started on that one. Anyhow, it is really unfortunate that the same people that are interested in representing our city and taking it to better places are the first people to disregard the most basic safety and sanitary measures that are currently in place. For me, it makes me really hate having to get involved in understanding what's going on, because to me, this is even sadder and more irresponsible than the tourists. The tourists came here and went, and they did what they had to do. We were expecting that to happen. But for any political party to be throwing events like this one depicted in this photograph, it is just sad. It is absolutely sad. Yesterday, we touched base briefly on water shortage issues that have been taking place in Punta de Mita. According to this article, there is a new distribution pipe that is only 800 meters short of completion that will make sure that towns such as Nuevo Corral del Risco and Emiliano Zapata do not suffer any more water shortages. Locals were interviewed and vouched for the improvements, recalling that water shortages were much worse in the past. Hopefully, once the new pipe is concluded, the water shortage situation will disappear altogether. And before we move on to the weather and other lighter stuff, let me take a quick look at your comments just to see what's on your mind. Stephanie says, we've taken the bus to Mazatlan from TV, and yes, it is a very comfortable bus. But still, my feeling of being on a bus, I'm feeling iffy, and hopefully that'll go away sometime soon. Diane fills in on some of the problems that are going on up there. Diane says that they're lying, the people that are providing the water. Again, Diane not being close enough to the situation. All we have is what we read on the news, and we've reported what we've read. And regardless of that, I hope that the water situation continues to improve for everyone. Let's see. Verdes contra Naranjas sounds like Ireland. Well, I don't know how things are in Ireland, but here the whole political campaigning exercise is a sad thing. It is a sad thing. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. There's a question. This pick of the campaign is worth way more than 1,000 words. Imbecilic. Absolutely, Heather. It is frustrating. It is truly frustrating. But for better or worse, the only way these politicians know how to campaign is by throwing these massive events. They throw big parties and they invite people so that people will remember which party threw the best party, which political party had the best offerings. And a lot of times people, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to generalize, I don't mean to say that the vast Puerto Vallarta population is that stupid. I'm sure that a lot of people vote responsibly and understand what the different candidates are about, but the vast majority of people seem to be just as irresponsible as the politicians themselves. I hate this period. I really, really do. Let's see what else we have. Matthew says, consider pre-recording one or two coffee headlines for after I've gotten my shot. Matthew slept for close to 48 hours after his. No appetite and loss of fatigue. Oh, maybe that'll be a good diet. I love it. Well, I hope you're feeling better, Matthew. I really, really do. Let us dive into the weather so we can continue with the broadcast. Coffee. Busted. Guilty as charged. Name your future child after me and you will get a special prize, says Carrot Weather. I don't know about that, but what I do know is that it is 27 degrees right now. Feels like 26. Humidity is low, 31%. And our temperature in Fahrenheit is 80. The weather forecast for today is we're going to have a clear day through the day. High temperature of 32, low temperature 19. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll have a clear day as well. High temperature 30, low temperature 18. And on Wednesday, we can expect another clear day on a clear day. Love it. 31 degrees is our high temperature. 18 degrees is our low temperature. So the beginning of the week looks as though it's going to look absolutely fabulous. And just in time, now that the tourists are gone, we can sort of start like peeking our heads out into the world. I know that I have some errands that I want to run today. Let's see. I have one more headline to share with you before we move on to Music Monday. Let me make that happen. And this would be another pier that seems to be in need of some TLC. Apparently, Los Muertos Pier is not the only one. Noticias PB reports on the pier at Boca de Tomatlán, where one usually takes all the water taxis to points in the South Shore. And it's also looking like it could use a little bit of love from this photograph. And there were other photographs in the article. And of course, we know Noticias PB, this came from Noticias PB, and it's very typical of them to just show, to report on things, and that's it. That's what they do. There's never, this is what we reported. This is where you can call to put pressure. This is what you can do. And that's just one of the things that we try to do here at Coffee and Headlines. If we're going to report on something, we always try to have a completion of the report such that you know what you can do to change something if there is an opportunity to do so. Let me see. Let's see. No important comments coming up. So let me get myself ready in Music Monday mode. That would be a triple M. Excuse me. Much better. Okay, so let me switch over to the other screen. And I think we are here and we are good to go. Today, okay, hold on. Whoosh. Today, we are going to concern ourselves with Vocalese and Scat singing. This is a follow-up to what we discussed last week. Last week, we learned the definition of Vocalese, and we listened to Rachmaninoff's very beautiful, very popular work of the same name. But with a single letter substitution, check this out. we discover that vocalese with an E is a different type of vocalese. It is a style of musical genre of jazz singing in which recognizable lyrics are added to pre-existing instrumental solos. Now, let us dive into this phrase and extract the keywords from it, because here's the nitty-gritty, you know? When you're doing scat singing, you're dealing with recognizable lyrics that are added to pre-existing instrumental solos. Rather than trying to explain this, let's listen to an example, but first let us make some very important concessions and based on things that we should already know. And if we don't, just slap me and then we can talk about this in more detail at another time. In very general terms, in pop music, you go through the entire song without any type of instrumental solos, and that's that. Now, in jazz, also, in very general terms, once you've gone through the song repeats itself while a soloist performs an improvised melody, also known as a solo, over the harmony of the song. Once the soloist is done improvising, he somehow communicates to the rest of the band, hey, I'm done, let us go back to the song, and the musicians play the song once again with the original melody. Now, this is again in very, very general terms. The solo part can sometimes be executed by more than one musician. It really depends on what the band is and what your intention is. Now, let us go find ourselves a famous solo so that we can better explain this. Do you know Body and Soul? Do you know this song? Here we go. My heart is sad and lonely. For you I sigh, for you, dear, only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. So that is the head of the song. That is the first verse. If you didn't know it, well, now you heard it at least for the first time. But that is Body and Soul. Now, in 1939, jazz tenor saxophonist Coleman Hawkins recorded a version of Body and Soul like none other. It became legendary, and it is regarded as one of his most famous performances. Curiously enough, he did not record the song performing it straight first. And by that, I mean he did not go through one cycle of the song singing the original melody. What he did is he went directly into improvising over the chords of the song. Now, to avoid copyright woes here at Coffee and Headlines, I'll play you two segments of the song. First, we'll hear the introduction, and then we'll hear a bit of the beginning of the performance. So here's the introduction to the recording. Okay? And immediately after, Coleman Hawkins begins improvising. Instead of starting, my heart is sad and lonely, he just takes the very first phrase of the song and then he starts improvising, checking it. And that's about as much as I want to play, because when the phrases are longer, YouTube takes notice. And these are among the most legendary recordings in the world of jazz. So the second part that he played went something like this. We'll come back to that melody because that is really important. Why? We meet Eddie Jefferson. Now, Eddie Jefferson is a vocal god. While he began his career as a tap dancer, he became better known both as an accomplished jazz vocalist as well as a lyricist. Well, in the early 60s, Eddie Jefferson had the brilliant idea of taking some of the most legendary instrumental solos recorded to date and writing lyrics for them. And in doing so, he created Vocalese. In 1968, he recorded an album titled Body and Soul, in which he presented a series of such songs with new lyrics set to the solos performed in the original recordings, including, of course, the Body and Soul that we just listened to. So let's listen again to the beginning of Coleman Hawkins, the saxophone player, the solo we just heard. And I want to listen to it again just because I want you to have it very fresh in your memory. Now, check out Eddie Jefferson's version of the same segment. Sometime before Christmas.
Don't you know he is the king of saxophones? Yes, indeed he is. Talking about the guy that made it sound so good.
And there you have it. And so the whole song, he goes and comes up with these lyrics that pay tribute to Coleman Hawkins, and it's his own lyrics. So what is he doing? He is singing Vocalese. And of course, that is not only the birth of Vocalese, but it is also one of the most popular examples of it from its own originator. Now, for you to learn more about Vocalese, in the show notes, I will leave you the link to Blee, Blop Blues by Count Basie from his 1952 album Basie Writes Again, which is a great song that received the Vocalese treatment by none other than Manhattan Transfer. And I will share the Manhattan Transfer version as well. This comes from their 1985 album Vocalese, which was exactly that. It was a huge tribute to great Vocalese, and in fact, it's the most influential album they recorded. So in this album, they take Blee Blop Blues, add lyrics by Jon Hendricks, another great Vocalese monster, and I will leave the link for this in the show notes. And I thought you would be interested in this because for the song, Manhattan Transfer recorded a hilarious music video in which they impersonate Lucy and Ricky and Fred and Ethel. Yes, that's the Manhattan Transfer you're looking at, as they sing the lyrics, which are inspired by the name of the song. The song is called Blee Blop Blues, and the lyrics that Jon Hendricks comes up for it have to do with a leaky faucet. And through the whole song, the whole plot of the video, and I don't care, it's not horrible to spoil it. One of the girl singers in Manhattan Transfer performs the role of Lucy, and she's trying to fix a pipe in the kitchen, and she makes the leak even worse. So this video is just, it's a masterpiece. So that is a little bit about Vocalese. Now, let us move on to the second half of what we're discussing here, which is scat singing. Now, scat singing is somewhat related as it has to do with jazz improvisation. But whereas Vocalese has to do with recognizable lyrics, in scat singing, vocalists use their singing voice as if it was a musical instrument, improvising melodies and rhythms as they go. It is difficult to tell how and when scat singing began, but there are recordings that trace the style to the 1910s, over a century ago. It is quite possible that it began when a singer took to the stage and started singing something, and maybe halfway through the song, he or she forgot the lyrics of the song and just began singing nonsensical syllables, and the audience thought it was part of the act, and that may possibly have been how scat singing began. Now, here is a fairly well-known jazz standard, one-note samba. I don't know if you've heard it before. It's a song composed by Antonio Carlos Jobim in 1960, and this is literally a song that has at least only two notes on the verse, and that is why it's called one note samba, and it goes like this. This is just a little samba built upon a single note. Other notes are bound to follow, but the root is still that note. Now this new one is the consequence of the one we've just been through, as I'm bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you. So that is the head of one note samba. And it's very, very easy to. I certainly hope that you've heard this before. It was probably Antonio Carlos Jobim's most popular song. Anyhow, here are the chords for the song we just heard. Now, if a musician is not familiar with a song and he or she is expected to do a solo, this is the only information that that musician would need to know the chords and just, start playing notes that go along well with those chords. This, of course, is a very well-known jazz standard, so a musician is likely to not even look at the chords to be able to improvise over it. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Oh, did I not put the music there? Oh, let me fix this very quickly. Because yes, I put the music there. Start audio. Let me see. Why is it not playing? No, we don't want to do that. How bizarre. Give me 1 second. Well, actually, let me do this because I don't know exactly how I can fix it. But I'm going to do it because I don't need to see the chords either. What I want to show you is how one would improvise over those chords like this. This is... Let me start that again because that was not good. You deserve better than that. Let me go back to the previous slide. And here we go. So that is just like a little bit of an improvisation. Now, that was so weird. Now, scat singing is fun. Scat singing is fun, and it's meant to be funny and humorous. Like, for example, it could happen that if a musician is, let's say I'm Ella Fitzgerald, the great goddess of scat singing, and Ella Fitzgerald is touring Mexico, and in doing that, she chooses to pay tribute to our country by introducing like a melody from our culture. Let's imagine that Ella starts scatting through La Cucaracha, for example. Da 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 ba da da ba da da ba da ba da 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 da. Ow! Woo! So that was fun. So that is a little bit of what scat singing is about. Just having fun with the music. And now I do want to come back to my presentation because I do want to show you the next slide that I have prepared for you. Give me just 1 second. I don't know why I lost my presentation. It was looking so pretty. But there we go. We are getting back to where we want to be, and I want to be here. Okay. Let's see. There are a mountain of scat singing performances out there, and the most extraordinarily The most extraordinary ones usually come from live performances, such as this one that took place on one of those television awards ceremonies, in which the legendary Ella Fitzgerald and the amazing Mel Torme attempted to explain to the audience what is jazz.
But Ella, how do you explain to people what jazz is? How do you talk about it?
Well, the only way I can think of, I have a way. Maybe we could try.
Let me hear it.
Shop the bitty no one little bitty
and so forth and so on. And there's a lot of examples of this on YouTube. There are great recordings of people scat singing. It is one of the most wonderful, amazing vocal expressions. And that, my friends, is scat singing. The end. Whew, we survived that. Now let me take a look at your comments. I am schwitzing. I hate performing. I get such stage fright. I love it. Well, I hate it, but I love it. Let me see your comments. Let me go back to the beginning of the presentation. Politicians love to take credit for building infrastructure like piers and roads, but spending on maintaining infrastructure is boring, so it's hard to get that funding. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it happens over and over again. That is such a good comment, Paul. Thank you very much for that. Let's see. Lisa loves scat. Well, that makes two of us. Lynn watched Closure. Yay. Thank you very much. Let's see. Yes, Mel Torme, absolutely. He is a scat heaven. He's scat god, along with Ella Fitzgerald. Let's see. Hola Paco, mi hijo Mariano te manda decir. Anita, oh my God, it's my niece. How are you, Anita? It's great to see you. My niece is Anita. My nieces, Robin and her wife, Anita, have two beautiful twins. One set of twins, two beautiful twins. I am so glad you guys are watching. Anita, te quiero mucho. Y a Robin también les mando un besote. Oh my God, that is so sweet. I was just talking to my niece, Robin, she's my sister's daughter. She lives in Mexico City, and I was saying to them the other day, we have to do like a little chingadera and just get caught up. Manhattan Transfer, 1995. I feel old, love them. They're amazing. They are amazing. Let's see. Oh, and there's something else that I didn't tell you during the presentation. In that Vocalese album, is it in that album? No, it's in Manhattan Transfer's Body and Soul. They have an album called Body and Soul. I think it's called Body and Soul as well. Anyhow, in one of Manhattan Transfer's albums, they paid tribute to Body and Soul, the version that was created with the Vocalese, and they harmonize it, and so it's a version that is a tribute of the version of the version. It's really, really beautiful. Lynn says, I love a good samba. Usually, Lynn, I have this internet radio station that I listen to most of the day. I have two, Classic FM and Bossa Nova Brazil, which is just amazing Bossa Nova from Brazil. I just love that music. Let's see what else. Paul says I scat good. Well, when I'm sitting here by myself and there's not an audience in front of me, it's a lot easier. I get totally nervous when I have to do that on stage, which is why I don't do it on stage. Unless it's like a little music appreciation lecture and stuff like that, I can do that. Let's see. Oh, Raymond, of course. We had to have a Raymond pun. I can relate to this every time I sing. People tell me to scat. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you. Oh, dear. I played Blue Skies for my baby grandson, and with Ella, it is primarily scat singing. Yes, I mean, there are some great early recordings, video recordings of Ella from the Montreux Jazz Festival when she's singing live, and she's just going crazy. I'm speaking to an audience that knows about this. Mel Torme, the Velvet Frog, and Ella. They just don't make them like that anymore. This is true. Oh no, really? A more recent example: Luis Miguel does this. Oh my God! Considering the fact that I don't like his singing, I have to go back and listen to this because I'll get shady. Let's see what else we have. Who has taken over Paul Christ's account? I don't understand the meaning of that, but that sounds really funny, I suppose. Let's see. Oh my God, I think we're there. Okay, so we're there. We have had Music Monday. We have had today's broadcast. If you're amused or otherwise entertained, please remember what we do and how we do it. We do it thanks to you, your contributions. Tomorrow is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll be back with more tacos. I will give you an advance. It will be a taco place that is near home because, again, for better or worse, I am not venturing very far just yet because of all the vacationers. But it'll be great tacos as always. I hope your day goes by beautifully. We have beautiful weather to enjoy today. And I hope we will continue to stay kind, stay careful, stay safe, stay happy, stay patient. And if you are of age and you need to get vaccinated, remember, it all starts tomorrow. Paul, I know you were heading to Washington, D.C. I don't know if this changes your plans in any way, but I know, baby, that you're due for your second vaccine. So vaccination when you can get them, as long as we can get them. So have a great day, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching.